Hey, just currently checking, make sure everything's working, because, you know, I don't stream every day. Okay. Let me just take care of a few things. Hello? Is audio good? Okay, I'm just gonna give everybody a second to join and then I'll kind of go over a few things here and there. Alright. Alright, welcome everyone. Yeah, so Mystic Garden still doesn't work in public servers, okay. Alright, so for everyone that has tuned in, I would like to just kind of like give you kind of brief on why exactly I ping most of the server. So, as many of you may know, the recent update, kind of opened my eyes a bit. Just what's really been going on. I think this is probably the biggest update that I've been working on for this game so far. And it is kind of sad that it went the way it was because I really wanted it to be even smoother than the previous updates too, but even after all the optimizations apparently just went the opposite direction, and all of a sudden now it's just completely unplayable. Well, now after a few fixes it's a little bit better, right? At least that's what I've noticed. I've tuned in a few servers recently and it's actually playable now, but for the better half of about half a month now, it's been consistently like horrific. Like any time you have like more than, I would say, 4 or 5 players in one server, I've noticed that the performance just drops dramatically. And not just because of the amount of memory, as you can see, which is a bit high for a Roblox game, which is supposed to have up to like 800 megabytes of storage. This game has 1,200 megabytes, so it's already on that high spectrum of, you know. But that's kind of expected. This is a very big map, and I tried my best to make them look good, but at the same time make them optimized. So let's see. So for example, a lot of the terrain, if you have any experience working on terrain, all the blocks that I use are hollowed out so that all the experience that you have playing the game, you can see everything here just fine, but in a way where it does actually work really well. Now, if you have any experience like actually making games, you're like, what are you talking about? Anybody should be doing that. But I try to go up above and beyond and removing every texture as well. I tried literally any method that I could possibly find to make the maps as efficient as possible. And with that, we still reach a very high amount. And if you ever kind of work on games and you look in this little category here, it kind of shows you where everything is. So a render target, which I'm pretty sure is for battling, that's already 175 megabytes. Form, light grid, shadow map. Shadow map's a big one. So by default with pretty much any map, if you have shadows enabled, so like the shadow for example, it's gonna cost you about 250 megabytes. I've tested this with other games. So that's also a big thing that we're thinking of removing for mobile players at least. Place memory. So place memory consists of the map and all the Jokumon that are in the map. So if I rejoin a new server real quick, I'm going to show you the difference between this memory with, let's see, 50 Jokumon and a map with nothing. So this is kind of why, if you saw the announcement recently about testers, I mean, even with testers, it's going to be difficult to kind of figure this out because we do need more from the looks of things to be able to properly make sure that everything's working fine. So let me go and join Sheet Trainer's private server. So remember, it's 1,440 megabytes. That's how many megabytes are in that place, which is way too much for a typical Roblox game. Alright, client memory usage 1700. Interesting. Should be lower. But here we are. Okay. 800 megabytes. So as you can see, literally just from Jokumon themselves, the place memory doubles. So that's kind of the scary thing right now, is when you're in a bigger server, we haven't really stress tested this enough, obviously, is that if you have some Jokumon in a game, it'll dramatically increase this number here, which is not good. You don't even want to see 800, but I do have certain ideas for that already. Let me just go around real quick, and I'm gonna show you kind of how fast this increases. Yeah, as you can see, look at that spike. You see how the chart just spiked right there? Now the problem is, right, this chart here, when it goes up, it does not go down. And if it does at all, it doesn't do it enough. So now I'm in Pebble Rock. As you can see, there's another spike. If I go into clip view, there's another spike. Now if we keep continuing this sort of thing where I just keep going into new areas and spawning Jokumon, you're just gonna keep seeing even more memory. Right now we're at 2,000 megabytes. So a typical mobile device, like an iOS 12, whatever you have, they use about 2 to 3 gigabytes, which is 2,000, 3,000 megabytes. And right now we're at 1,400 megabytes. So we would already be using half of what a phone typically should be using. Now, I don't know how bad it is for PC players, but as a game that is supposed to be mobile friendly, this isn't a very good thing to see, as you can tell. Now, because I'm the only one in this server, I'm never gonna have huge performance loss because I'm the only one kind of messing with everything. But if I join a public server, it's gonna continue where it left off with other players exploring the world. And that's kind of where the problem sits. So right now I'm just kind of going into every area that is in the game so I can show you just how much memory I start taking up. Now my PC is like pretty up there. I would say it's medium to high end. So this is nothing for me. I can go to 16,000 megabytes, 32,000 megabytes, and I'll be fine. But for the casual player, if you see anything over 1,000 megabytes, that's not good. Most high-end games usually don't go over 800, as I've said before. Now, one of those ideas that I have is I wanted to let everyone here know about this before I kind of commit to it entirely, is that I'm thinking of splitting up the areas into different servers. So what that would mean is part of the area that you would go to, good lord, this place has so much memory. But essentially that means if you teleport to another area, it'll mean that you go to another server entirely. And that server will be dedicated to those areas by themselves. That way, not only would the map be a lot smaller, so it would be less intense for everybody to render everything, but it would also be less Jokemon in the world as well, which is another huge thing. So right now, let's see, still going up and up. You know, I was originally at 800, now I'm almost at 2,000. I'm going to guess that we're going to reach something close to 2,000, 2,100 by the time I finish seeing every area, if not more. So that just kind of shows you exactly why a lot of the servers are not doing so well right now. And that's kind of why I wanted players to do private servers, because even though you use a lot of memory, you have a fresh server to do whatever you want in, and I don't really want to like force people to spend money on private servers when the game itself is not really working. Now, as you can see, it's actually going down a little bit, which is nice, but not as much as I want it to. I would love for it to go down to 800, even though I've already explored several areas. But right now it's not even close to that number. Now I want to know if any of you have any like feedback that you could possibly give to me, if you think you would know any possible solutions. Now, an obvious thing would be to just make everything client-sided, but then no one would be able to see everything else and all that. It would just be the same old, same old. It would just be like another Brick Bronze, which I don't really want to do that. I want to make this game its own standalone game that is unique in its own right. But with that, it comes with a lot of potential risks, such as performance, because if you make everybody be able to see everything, that can be a bit of a problem, as you can see. So I've gone through everywhere except for the optional routes. Yeah, I'm just gonna let it be like that. But this is essentially what a private server would look like when you first join in. My ping is 30, but I guarantee you my ping will be 10 times more than that if I go into a public server. And that's just simply because you can't have a game like this have 2,000 megabytes of data being used. The problem right now is trying to fix that. We don't want a big game like that. Roblox isn't like games like massive, expensive, and all that. Another thing I know is the decks. so you can kind of see everything's all messy, all out of order. Let me just move that over there. Yeah. So basically, the dex is out of order, and I know that, but there's gonna be a remake for the dex that will be in the works, so don't mind that. Another thing is, let's see, the inventory. That UI is gonna be made different. Storage, shop UI. Party system. Another big thing I know that a lot of people are complaining about is the battle system. And not just like the system itself, but just like how you start the battles. I was gonna take a second, but actually, you know what? I'm just gonna join a public server for this. Okay. So back to here, right? As you can see, if you look in my thing here, I have over 1,000 ping. That is not playable ping. And there's a lot of errors too. One of the music is also not working. Okay. So let me try doing a battle real quick. Very delayed, not good. But this is what a lot of people are complaining about, right? Is, well, obviously the flickering, but also the 5-second cooldown. So the 5-second cooldown thing is just kind of, I don't even think it was my idea to begin with, but I think it was there just to make sure that NPC battles and such were more balanced, as well as if you ever did PvP tournaments in the past, there were a lot of people that would sort of auto-click their way to win. So that was also kind of why that was also implemented. Also, the fact that they're moving like 2 miles per hour, that's not something normal. If you're in a faster server, they should be moving at pretty much the same speed as you running. Another thing, okay, it was fixed, but yeah, unanchoring of the Drukma. That was also another big thing. Which is, it's good now that they're not kind of in your face anymore. I think that was a good quality of life thing. Quests, I know a lot of them were bugged as well, but I think most of that was fixed, so that's good. But the main thing is, I should not be having 300 ping, and I should not have 2,000 megabytes of data being used. This is just whatever. I don't think that's game breaking or anything, but you know, an error, big or small, could be the reason why something's laggy, so that's why you always have to report bugs, or should report bugs. Let me do an NPC battle. Yeah, so it's this music in particular that's not working. It's good to know. Okay. But yeah, generally, that's what I really wanted to talk about is the performance thing. I don't, I really don't want the game to just be a broken mess. And I really hope that we can have this never happen again because I spent, you know, hundreds of hours on this one update on itself. Like, in total, I probably spent close to 10,000 hours on this game in total this past year. Because if I'm spending up to 100 hours a week sometimes working on this game, and I've been working on it for about a year, there's a lot of stuff you guys haven't even seen too. A lot of stuff that I work on, I don't even put into the game because I don't think it's good enough. So this is probably like 20% of what I've really done. This area here, you'll see in the future what that's gonna be. Now the next, essentially the next update is gonna be focused on 4th of July. So if you have any suggestions on 4th of July, let me know. Yeah, because see, how long until 4th of July? About a week from now, right? So yeah, hopefully this next weekend you'll see an update for 4th of July. And then during this week, there's going to be a lot of performance focused fixes, hopefully. Don't expect any content updates for a little while because I can't really focus on content when the game's not really working the way we want it to. But yeah, other than that, how was the update other than obviously all the bugs? Like how are the animations? As you can see, some of them have animations now. How are the remade areas? The new music? All the new areas? Gym leader? UI remakes? The entire combat remake? Yeah, so much was put into this one update, but maybe we just were a little bit too ambitious with this one. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna be optimistic. I'm still gonna work on the game. I know this game has like 2 players playing the game now, so I'm not making any money from it. You know, I've probably made like 20 bucks in the past like month or two from this game. So if I was doing this for money, I'd probably move on. This is mostly something that I really wanted to do because it was something that was really close to me as a kid, and on top of that, I feel like this game could really be something huge if we pull it off the way I think we can. You know what's crazy as well is the creator of the original game from 10 years ago actually played this game. Though unfortunately, it's a bit sooner than I wanted him to because there's just still so much I want to do for this game. You know, even this place, this little arena here, took me a while to do. hopefully I stop remaking areas because that's also a big thing that kind of takes time. I only have a few more intended places that I need to remake. So Salivar Mountains. This is gonna be remade entirely, just because, not because it's like really ugly or anything, but in order to fit with the style of everything, I just can't have this place be the way it is right now. And I feel like because of how good this place looks, imagine how much better it's gonna look when it's remade. What else needed to be remade? So we had Fairview, Bushy Fields, Cliffview. Cliffview I feel like needs a bit more, so I might focus on this too in the future. Like the cliffs themselves, maybe a bit more detail. The edges kind of feel a bit flat. Oh yeah, another one I kind of wanted to do is the Terra Cove Maze, Terra Cove Chasm. This area entirely, I feel needs an entire remake as well. It's got size, so I'm probably not gonna make it bigger than it currently is, but it's gonna make more sense. Now for Deep Chaos City, I think as well I'm gonna remake this place too, because I feel like I can do so much better with it. And this arena too is really outdated. Volcanic Grotto, I'm considering remaking this place too, but that's not gonna happen for a long time, I would assume. Because it already looks good, pretty good for now. Lilac, Lilac looks fine. I know it's a bit large, but it is an ocean after all. An ocean's not supposed to be small. But I think that's pretty much it. Now when it comes to the ruined tower, over here in the back, now obviously if you explored up here and you went up the staircase, you may have noticed if you go up here, you're not actually able to go up. Now, if you ever read what the dialogue says with the NPCs, one of them kind of says something a little bit about the top of the tower, but I'll let you find that for yourself. But yeah, essentially there's going to be more for that tower as well in the future. In Crimson Grove, I added a little bit of a portal here. You can't go to yet. That's going to be for, the Elite Four champion and all that. This area here. This is probably going to stay fairly the same as of the entrance, but in this area I'm probably going to remake this entire area. It's going to be revamped, rehauled, whatever. This is all going to be new. This guard's probably not going to be here. Maybe it's like a door holder, something like that. I don't know. But you'll actually be able to fight the Elite Four, which is gonna be great because I've already made one of the Elite Four areas and I already have all the Elite Four members done. So that's gonna be good to do later on. So yeah, this map is massive. Let me just do this real quick. So if I go here, now I'll be able to fly a little bit faster. kind of shows you the scale of this map. Absolutely massive. That's kind of what I wanted. I wanted a really big, expansive map that felt like you were going on an actual like adventure. Now, if I do what I plan to do in the future is I'm actually gonna connect these areas up and make them actually a map and not just separate entities, basically. Hmm. But yeah, just let me know of anything. I'm always looking for any feedback. I always read messages in the group wall if you ever decide to say anything in there. I always check the bug reports. I always check the suggestions, anything like that. My DMs are always open. I just don't guarantee if I will ever reply to your DM. So if I don't be too upset about it. I probably read what your DM was, but you could have said something that I just didn't want to reply to. That's about it. But yeah, these are actually not textures. These are using a new Roblox feature, which is materials. So, for example, this grass here. So you know how this is a grass texture here. What I did is I made my own custom texture, and these are actually like material textures now. They're not like textures which take up extra memory. So this grass here is actually not a texture. If you notice, it's a little bit customized. It's not letting me get in, but if I do manage to, okay, there we go. So yeah, this is custom grass that I made in Photoshop, but this is all material. And a way you can tell it's a material is if you notice the edges here. These are two entirely different meshes. They look like they're connected, but they're not. And that's the difference between textures and materials, which is also two birds in one stone, really beautiful, but also efficient. But all in all, I'm just saying I put a lot of effort into trying to make this as optimized as possible for what it is, but clearly I have to take extra measures in order to kind of make it what I want it to. And with that, I'm just gonna go over one last thing is future plans. And if you heard about it earlier, I was talking about a 4th of July update, which should be next week. After that, I'm planning on adding trades. And then after that, after trading and such, I think what we're gonna focus on is probably so we already have combat done. Maybe more PvP stuff. But I think that's gonna be part of the updates as we go along, so maybe not as a main feature, but I think trading, PvP, combat, UI, overhaul, that's gonna be one thing as well. So your deck's here. As you can see, it's all messy. That's all gonna be remade. I think after that, I might go into more NPC stuff. maybe more gym leader based stuff. Yeah. Item drops is another thing, but I don't know if we're gonna do that anytime soon. Item drops will basically be drops from any Jokemon creature, and what you'll do is these drops will basically be used to craft whatever item you want. And the system is going to be very smart. It's not going to be complicated or anything, so it's going to be easily accessible to anybody of all ages. All you need is one specific item. So like for example, if you want to make a firestone, you could use 2 sticks, 2 rocks, 2 pebbles, 2 boulders, 2 whatever, glass shard, whatever. As long as it has enough rarity, it will be enough for you to be able to craft the firestone, as long as you have something, for example, like a fire essence. And that one piece is going to be required to do the firestone, but as long as you have the necessary rarity of the items that you have that you can just throw in with it, then you can make yourself a firestone. So if you ever played Legends of Zelda Breath of the Wild, if you are familiar with the system that they use for cooking, where all you have to do is throw in 4 pieces of fruit and then all of a sudden you have a cooked meal, that's basically what it's going to be, as long as you have that one specific key item so that the game knows what you're trying to make. So it's not going to be like specific recipes or anything complicated like that, except for maybe like a master ball or anything late game. That's going to be like more specific stuff, but for everything else it's going to be really simple, easy to do for anybody to kind of like easily make anything that they want. Another thing is with item drops, you're going to be able to make like not only evolution items, you're going to have the ability to make like cubes over here, potions, possibly mounts as well. You know, we're thinking of adding more mounts, but at the moment the system only allows you to be able to have one mount. So yeah, that's just how it is right now. Quests probably gonna have an overhaul as well, but if I go over here, I already have plans for different quest types. So finding a necklace, for example, finding ice cream, finding items in general, that'll be like one of the new quest types. There'll be more than that too, but at the moment that's just how it's gonna be. It's just gonna be what it is right now. It's not one of the big things that I'm looking forward to doing just yet. Another thing that we plan to do is housing. So you'll be able to have your own like little house where you'll be able to customize it, be able to grow maybe berries in your house, certain food items, they could boost whatever, and also your Jokemon as well. So that's always nice. There's a lot of things. Weather as well, nighttime, daytime, specific spawns. But other than that, I think I'm gonna end the stream here. We've been streaming for 45 minutes, wow. It didn't really feel like that long, but if you wanted to ask anything outside of the stream, just always contact me or anyone else that is working on the game, and I'm sure they'll be able to respond to you. If not, respond to me. I think that's gonna be it for the stream. Thank you for basically tuning in, and hopefully in the following updates it's gonna be a lot smoother than the last one. Because the last thing I want to do is see all my work kind of going into what, a dead game because of a few bugs that just ruin everything, ruin everyone's experience and all that. It really sucks.